Hi and Assalamualaikum. A very good morning to our beloved lecturer, Sir Muhammad Firdaus bin Ahmad, and to all my fellow friends. Today, my group will present the Chapter 3, which is Developing a Consistent Game Plan for Moral Reasoning. Before I start to the first presenter, I will introduce my group members and me. Buah durian banyak duri. Nama diberi Muhammad Syakir Fitri.
Jauh termenung, duduk tersandar. Inilah saya, Hakim Iskandar.
Haiwan terlaju adalah citah. Citah cantik seperti kami. Nama saya Aisyah Madihah. Sayalah anak Encik Azmi.
Berjalan kaki menuju ke taman. Nama diberi Sabrina Sulaiman.
Pergi ke taman main buaian. Nama saya Muhammad Sufian.
Okay, now I will present the 5 steps in thinking through a moral problem. Step 1. Are any moral principles violated? Step 2. Are any moral rules violated? Step 3. Is this case an exceptional? Step 4. Are the rules justified? Step 5. How can rules be changed? Now we go one by one. Step 1. Are any moral principle violated? Principle is a basic idea or rules that explain or control how something happens on work. Violated is to break or act against something, especially a law, agreement, principle, or something that should be treated with respect. If one violated of any of these principles, referee must decide whether his or her action is an exception to the rules or whether one action is morally unacceptable. Now we go to the step 2, which is are any moral rules violated? If all the athletes or participants followed well the rules and regulation in their sport, athlete can be performed well and does not violated any rules. For example of moral value that I can give, such as respect each other, play fairness, and treat others as you want to be treated. Now we go to the step 3, which is this case an exceptional? Rules may have an exception, but exception must be justified. You must show that is a good overriding reason for all allowing this exception. Furthermore, step 4. Are the rules justified? Some rules may not fair to all athletes. Athletes need to fully say that was morally wrong. Is the rule violated on of your moral principle, like I already mentioned at step 2 before, such as respect each other, play fairness, and treat others as you want to be treated. The last one, how can the rules be changed? If the day-to-day rules are your personal rules, you can readily make a change of it. But if you cannot morally function within the rules, and the change could not be affected. If the change affected the large social rules, such as made by sport governing bodies, a change may require a politician action, a demonstration, or legislation move. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Hakim Iskandar. Very good morning to Sir Muhammad Firdaus and my fellow friends. So my name is Muhammad Sufyan bin Mat Zainal. I will continue this presentation. So the obstacles and fallacies in reasoning. It is the challenges to carry out game plan for moral reasoning. As a moral reason, we must realize that if we do not follow a standard logical pattern, we may be duped into using fallacies reasoning. The first obstacle and fallacies in reasoning is skepticism. Skepticism is still in doubting, which is no explanation or justification are insufficient. It is a doubt about something that we just not convinced or can totally believe it. The truth of the knowledge is still in doubt without any justification. There are skepticism that any reasoning about moral issue that can exist. For example, like one person came to play in badminton championship. He won the championship, and then it was give some bad expression because he never came to training before, but he can win the championship. Second, which is cultural and relative ethics. Different places have different cultures. What is right and what is wrong depends on the culture of the community involved. We as a human being, we need to have respect to the others communities or societies that we go somewhere. For example, we need to make sure that we need to respect because of we have different of cultures, races, religion and others. In order to have a good relationship between others, we need to respect them to make sure that they also can respect us. So we move to the number 3, which is dogmatism. Dogmatism is tendency to exclude any fact that is believed without the need for opinion or evidence. Dogmatism also is a way of thinking that is stubborn and also narrow-minded. There are more of closed mind and do not need the other's opinion. Reasoning is unnecessary because the answer is already known. For example, in football, the referee has their own power to punish the player that doing fault in the field. But sometimes their decision was wrong. The players will tell to the referee that they doesn't do the fault, but the referee doesn't want to hear, and then referee give yellow card or red card. But during this time, the VAR, video assistant referee, was being used to the referee to make sure that it will help the referee to make a good and clear decision. So we move to the next obstacles, which is false obstruction of theory and practice. Theory that is just a theory without practice, or some things that can prove truth. Some people believe that ethical theory is after all only a theory and not factual, realistic or practical. Some society does not accept and do not believe this theory because there is no solid evidence to prove it. But as a human being, we need to believe that theory even if it doesn't have solid evidence. For example, we take ghosts. Some people believe that the ghost exists because they can see and they also hear the story from the others. But some of people do not believe in ghosts because of they can see. They also hear what the people said, but they want to believe because there is no fact which is the ghost was exist. Like in Malay said, dengar boleh, percaya jangan. So that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
First, thank you to Sufyan for the previous presentation. My name is Aisyah Madiha binti Muhammad Azmi. Now, I will continue the presentation with another obstacle fallacies in reasoning. Other reasoning fallacies in reasoning means false thinking or mistakes. The person used or invalid or otherwise faulty reasoning. For example, the promoter has convinced people to buy her products. Next, other obstacle fallacy is the fallacy of authority. The definition of fallacy of authority is people can claim information based on their eyes and not based on facts. If mistaken belief or person claim that are valid and not true as a true. For example, Ahmad only trusts the word from his coach and didn't hear anyone else's opinion. The next fallacies are ad hominem arguments. The definition of ad hominem arguments are attacking a person's ideas or opinion by discrediting him or her as a person. An opinion or belief is wrong solely because the person saying so is known to be bad or disreputable. People are trying to deificate their appearance by making fun of them. For example, stating that one age recruit a person from being able to make an intelligent or meaningful argument by saying, "You are clearly just too young to understand." Other example in sport is, what do you know about Phil to score a goal? You didn't even list as a player. Misplaced and improperly placed authority is one of the examples of obstacle in fallacy. The definition of misplaced and improperly placed authority is tend to trust experts or people who have professional degree or important position even the supposed expert has little experience on that subject. Currently, we are facing COVID-19. There's a lot of people that jump into conclusion and make a speculation about the COVID-19, even though it was the new news and there's a lack of information specifically. An example for COVID-19 situation. In this case, we as Malaysians tend to trust Dr. Sri Nur Hisham Abdullah, who is a Director General of Health in Malaysia, because he always reminds us about the SOP from WHO. Other example in sport is professional athletes endorse and advertise products when themselves has little or no experience with the product itself. For example, like our national athletes who become an ambassador for 100 plus, such as Datuk Wira Lee-Chong-wei, Pandadala Rinom, and the others. The appeal to force is also one of the examples of obstacle in fallacy. The definition of appeal to force is, in Latin word, is argumentum ad baculum, which the translation argument from the sticks is supposing might makes rights. And the bigger, the stronger or greater number is correct opinion and probably should determine the morally correct position. An example of appeal to force in sport is the case in sports when Caster Semenya, a South African runner, lost gender case in bid to continue competing as a woman. So that's all from me. The next slide will be presented by Nur Sabrina. Thank you.
Thank you to Asha Madiha for the wonderful presentation. My name is Nur Sabrina bin Sulaiman. Now, I will continue the presentation with another 5 obstacle and fallacy in reasoning. The next is the appear to pity and ridicule. The meaning of appear to pity and ridicule is playing on another person emotional to get one intention or to avoid being the attention. It also known as appear to sympathy. For example is, please help me, I always wrong. And also mocking opponent's argument. The next of obstacle and fallacy in reasoning is begin the question. In Latin, begin the question was called petitio principii, mean assuming the question point. It is known as a circular argument. Begin the question can be defined as using the thing to justify or support the same thing. For example, an individual or athlete try to win the argument simply by repeating, insisting, or shouting the same information over and over. The next is equivocation. The definition of equivocation is sliding between two or more different meaning of the single words or phrase that is important to argument. It happens when person using a word incorrect or choosing word in a wrong meaning to prove their point. Equivocation is also known as double speak. For example, is you must play football in the right way. Everyone have the right to play football. The equivocation, it is the words right. Right can be something that correct or good. It is important to use mean-term equivocation consistently. The next is psychological obstacle. The definition are express themselves in slogan or cliche and mimic what is called herd behavior. What is herd behavior? Herd behavior is phenomena in which individuals act collectively as part of the group often make decisions as a group that they would not make as individual. So, to put in simple words, psychological obstacle is a barrier prevent us from reaching our goal. The last point that I present of obstacle and fallacy in reasoning is a final comment on coverage. The division or process of the moral reasoning may free you from your own prejudice, discard belief based on false premises. For example, difference of race and gender in group. Some of us, sometimes they need the spirit and courage to stay out in group. So, inquire on courage and humility. That's all from me. Thank you. The next slide will be presented by our last presenter. I pass the turn to Muhammad Shakir Fitri to continue the presentation.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Shakir Fitri bin Sharifuddin. I'm the last presenter. Today, I will present about the conclusion of this topic. First, we can determine the process for proving this obstacle and fallacies is right or wrong using logical thinking. Using logical thinking, we can know the decision or an opinion is right or wrong. Second, stand firm and brave with your own opinion even it is not probably true. This means we have to confidence with the opinion even without justification or any explanation that can prove it true. 3. Never be afraid of trying and failing to give opinion. This one is related to point number 2, which is stand firm and brave. When you make a decision or any opinion, just say the opinion and don't afraid of the failure. Lastly, these are a few steps that may have to think rationally through the moral problem. This one is related to the first point of this presentation, which is step in thinking through a moral problem in slide number 3, that presented by Ahmad Nur Hakim. On this slide, I will talk about 2 case studies. For the first case study, let me bring you guys back to the Russian FIFA World Cup 2018. Summary of this case, our Egyptian goalkeeper Mohamed El Shenawi turned down the man of the match while following the football game between Egypt against Uruguay. This is because he discovered the press poster from alcohol company named Budweiser. As you guys may know, we as a Muslim can't even drink or have any associate with alcohol at all. Next, the step that FIFA has taken are delete Budweiser logo from El Shenawi banner, leaving only his name, photo, and country of origin, as you can see in this slide. After the incident, FIFA has changed some protocol regarding this issue. For this case, it can relate to step number 2 presented by Ahmad Nur Hakim. Next, we go to the case study number 2. This case happened back then at Glasgow 2014 Commonwealth Games, when our own cyclist Azizul Hasni Awang, known as the Pocket Rocket Man, has been given a warning over safe Gaza glove. Azizul kept defend his message that he was humanitarian rather than political issue. Later on that day, he issued an apology to the Commonwealth Games Federation. On the other hand, on his Facebook fan page, he stated, "I feel sorry to the people who misunderstanding my message. There is no such thing with the political protest. It's from the bottom of my heart to express humanitarian. Since when expresses humanitarian considered as a political? Anyway, I apologize those who think I'm doing wrong. I got a warning and I still can race today, but without my safe Gaza glove. Thanks everyone for your support and really appreciate it. We all stand as a human." For this case, it can be related to the step number 5.